The morning sunlight spilled across the glass walls of the towering office building, glittering like fire against the polished steel. People rushed in and out in sharp suits, carrying briefcases, checking phones, talking hurriedly as if the world could not wait for them. But on the edge of the wide corporate plaza, a man in a navy blue janitor's uniform stood silently, watching with weary eyes. His name was Daniel, and though he looked like just another maintenance worker sweeping the courtyard, inside his chest was a storm of responsibility and quiet struggle. He was a single father, raising his little daughter Lily all alone after tragedy had taken his wife from him 2 years earlier. Every day, he showed up to scrub floors, wipe windows, and change trash bins, but in his heart, he carried the weight of 2 lives, his and Lily's. That morning seemed ordinary, almost too ordinary, until it wasn't. Because in just a few seconds, everything would change. Because in just a heartbeat, Daniel would see something no one else noticed. And in that one moment, when he shouted with urgency, "Don't get in the car," lives would shift forever, and even the most powerful people in that building would never look at the janitor the same way again. If you believe that kindness, second chances, and courage can come from the most unexpected places, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. It helps us spread more stories that remind the world that ordinary people can make an extraordinary difference. The day began like any other for Daniel. He woke up before dawn in his small rented apartment on the quiet side of the city. His alarm buzzed at 5 a.m., but most mornings he was already awake, lying in bed staring at the cracked ceiling. Next to him, curled beneath a faded blanket, was his daughter Lily, only 8 years old, her hair messy, her little arms wrapped around a stuffed rabbit that had seen better days. He kissed her forehead gently, whispering promises he wasn't sure he could keep, promises that she'd have a better future, that he would do everything in his power to make her smile, that no matter how hard things were, he wouldn't give up. He prepared her breakfast, simple toast, an egg, and a glass of milk. He packed her tiny lunchbox with care, even slipping in a little note with a smiley face. Every day he worked 2 shifts to make ends meet, and every day he told Lily to dream big, even if his own dreams had long been buried under debt, exhaustion, and grief. By 6:30, he was already at the corporate tower where he worked as a janitor. The employees barely noticed him, to them he was invisible. Just a man with keys hanging from his belt, carrying mops and trash bags. But Daniel noticed everything. Years of cleaning had taught him to see what others ignored, a stain on a rug, a crack in a window, a flickering light bulb. He also noticed people, their hurried footsteps, their tense expressions, their little victories and silent breakdowns in the restrooms when no one else was watching. He carried those unnoticed fragments quietly, like he carried the memory of his late wife. That morning, around 8 a.m., the CEO herself arrived at the building. Her name was Catherine Hale, a woman in her early 30s who had risen through the ranks like a lightning bolt. She was sharp, commanding, with eyes that rarely softened and heels that clicked on marble like a metronome of power. To most, she was untouchable, a figure of ambition and success. To Daniel, she was just another person he cleaned up after, though he secretly admired her ability to lead a company that size. Still, their worlds were galaxies apart, or at least, that's what he thought. As she stepped out of the building later that morning, heading towards her sleek black car parked near the curb, Daniel's attention sharpened. Something wasn't right. He had always trusted his instincts, they had kept him alive through hardship, through raising a child alone, through navigating a world that often overlooked men like him. And now, those instincts screamed. The car. Something about it. At first glance, it seemed fine, polished, black, gleaming under the sunlight. But Daniel's sharp eyes caught what others didn't, a faint wire slipping out from beneath the driver's side door, almost hidden in shadow. He also noticed the driver wasn't the usual company chauffeur, it was a different man, sitting rigid, eyes flickering nervously toward Catherine as she approached. Daniel's heart pounded. His mind raced back to all the late-night crime shows he had watched, all the news reports about corporate sabotage, revenge, or worse. This wasn't just a mistake. This wasn't ordinary. Something terrible was waiting. And so, with fear clawing his throat but courage forcing him forward, Daniel dropped the broom he was holding and ran. His boots slapped against the pavement, and his voice tore through the calm morning air like a siren. "Don't get in the car." Catherine froze. The entire courtyard seemed to freeze too. Executives turned their heads. Security guards startled. For a moment, no one understood. Who was this janitor to shout at their CEO? How dare he? But Daniel's hand was raised, his voice filled with desperation, his face carved with urgency. Seconds later, Catherine realized why. Because just as she stopped, her hand hovering above the car handle, a small metallic click sounded from beneath the vehicle. A sound too subtle for most to notice, but in the deadly quiet that followed Daniel's cry, it was unmistakable. Catherine's eyes widened as fear rushed through her chest. The driver looked panicked, fumbling with something near the dashboard. Security guards ran forward, and within moments chaos erupted. They pulled Catherine back, shielding her, while Daniel lunged to the side, pointing at the wire under the car. "There's something there," he shouted. The guards crouched low, and soon the truth revealed itself, a crude but dangerous-looking device rigged beneath the vehicle. A bomb. The CEO's sleek black car was rigged to explode. Had Daniel not seen it, had she opened that door, had she stepped inside, everything would have ended in fire and shrapnel. In those heart-stopping seconds, Catherine's life, and the future of the entire company, was saved, not by another executive, not by security, not by a board member, but by a janitor. By a single dad who scrubbed floors and emptied trash cans. By a man no one looked at twice, and so, on that bright morning when a single dad janitor shouted those life-saving words, everything changed. Catherine's life was spared, the truth about loyalty and courage came to light, and the world was reminded that heroes don't always wear suits or badges. Sometimes they wear uniforms stained with soap and carry the weight of a child's dreams in their tired hands. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it with friends, comment your feelings below, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Together, we can keep telling stories that show the power of kindness, bravery, and second chances. Before we end, I want to ask you something special. What would you have done if you were in Daniel's place? Please share your thoughts in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. And with that, the sun sets on this daytime story, a reminder that courage can shine brightest in the most ordinary of lives.